In Australia, we have a lot of political talk about refugees. Under the Rudd and Gillard governments, of course, over 1,200 refugees drowned tragically on boats that sank on the waters between Australia and Indonesia. More recently, we've had a discussion about the connection between refugees and acts of Islamic terrorism. Well, there's something I want to raise in the refugee debate you don't hear in the political system. The elites never talk about it, the mainstream media never follow up and give you the facts. And that is the question of refugee settlement. Once the refugees come into Australia, what happens to them? Where do they go? What sort of life are they living in our streets, our suburbs, our neighbourhoods? Now, the classic example of this was in September 2015. There was a big national push. The elites, the candlelit suburbs got out there, the people with little candles got out into Hyde Park, Sydney. The leftist elites got out into places like Federation Square in Melbourne, again with their candlelit displays to say we've got to bring in maximum number of Syrian refugees. This is what it looked like, those scenes from September 2015.
All those people are trying to escape conflict that the First World have created, so they deserve to come to the First World.
Hopefully our politicians are listening.
In the state of New South Wales, Premier Mike Baird said he wanted to take in a vast number of refugees. He talked up the opportunity to bring in huge numbers of Syrian refugees. Here he was on the Q&A program.
The question is how many more? 10, I mean, how do you know it's just 10,000? Well, how do you know it shouldn't be more? And this is my point. It's very easy and very simple to put a number up, but what can we actually do? And can we do more than that?
At the end of the day, Mike,
who's to say we can't do more?
Now, Mike Baird, a soft lefty, a bleeding heart from the Liberal Party, he tried to make out that the refugees would come to all parts of New South Wales, a policy of decentralisation. They'd be settled in country towns like Albury, Wagga Wagga, Coffs Harbour, places like Wollongong and Newcastle. This is an extract from the official New South Wales government document on refugee settlements. All the talk was about dispensing the refugees. So a couple of years later, we've got to ask the question, what actually happened to this promise? We were led to believe the refugees would be settled all over the state of New South Wales. Well, in reality, the state took 7,000 Syrian refugees and more than 6,000 of them ended up in a single local government area. 7,000 in the state of New South Wales and over 6,000 in just one local government area of Fairfield in Western Sydney. Now, of course, if you put so many disadvantaged people in a disadvantaged place, you magnify the extent of disadvantage. You end up with ethnic enclaves, with welfare dependency into the future, and other social problems that flow out of that. We know already that Fairfield in Western Sydney has the highest unemployment rate in all of the Sydney metropolitan area. So why dump these Syrian refugees in just one area? It's because the elites don't care. They make these promises, the system promises a certain outcome, the media don't follow it up. You're only finding out here on Rebel Australia the truth of what has happened. Over 6,000 Syrian refugees in the Fairfield area. Now this, of course, is a major problem, and we know it exposes the hypocrisy of the elites. I did a street talk as part of Mark Latham's Outsiders, talking to people in Balmain, one of these candlelit suburbs, places like Balmain, North Sydney, Mossman, Paddington in Sydney. We know in Melbourne you've got Carlton and Brunswick, all these elite suburbs. They're all promising to take the refugees into Australia. It turns out, into the country, yes, but not in their suburb, not in their street, not in their neighbourhood. This is what they had to say in the street talk in the inner city leftist enclave of Balmain.
I don't have a back room, but well, I guess I would find that a little bit intrusive.
So not for you?
Yeah.
No, not me, thanks.
No, not you? Okay.
Yeah, I would. If I had a spare room, I'd offer it to them, sure.
What about your living area? Can they sleep on the couch at night?
Yeah, they could if that's what they needed. I don't know, in the house. I'd have to check with my parents.
Haven't got a back room.
You got a couch they can sleep on?
Well, actually, my kids do that while they Airbnb,
so you can't, okay.
No, I could have at Cheltenham, but no, we just don't have the space.
So while the over 6,000 Syrian refugees settled in Fairfield, in Balmain hardly any, in Mike Baird's own area of Manly, the electorate he represented in the state parliament, they take 2 refugees a year, just 2. Syrian and non-Syrian, just 2 a year. It'd take 3,000 years for Mike Baird's local government area to take as many refugees as he dumped into Fairfield. And it's the same for all these leftist elite areas. It's the hypocrisy of wanting the people to come into Australia, but not where they live, not next door, not in their back room, really washing their hands of the problem after they extinguish their candle-lit displays in places like Hyde Park. That's the real hypocrisy. And of course, what's the outcome in Fairfield? I also did a street talk in Fairfield to talk to the people there, or try to talk to them. Their language skills were so poor, you really couldn't find that many people, maybe just 1 in 10 in the refugee community there in the main street of Fairfield who had English language skills. Let's have a look. Speak to Mark Latham's Outsiders. What do you think of Cabramatta?
I am not speaking English.
Nothing at all?
No.
No English at all?
No,
okay, thank you.
I do know a lot of English.
You don't speak English at all, really? Think of
no,
Cabramatta?
No English, no.
No? No
No
English at all?
English.
Think of Cabramatta?
Syrian.
Syrian, okay. What do you think of Syria?
Lebanon.
Lebanon. What do you think of Lebanon? No. Oh, okay, no English. Okay, thank you. No English? No English? No? I'm sort of doing no English at all. But you said that very well. That sounded decent English. Cabramatta, just down the road. Good or bad? No, nothing. Okay.
You don't speak English.
Okay, thank you. Cabramatta.
Sorry, not speak English.
No English. So the bottom line here is we need a pattern, a genuine pattern of refugee dispersal. If immigration, multicultural policies, refugee policies that are working to Australia, it can't be on the basis of dumping disadvantaged people in an already disadvantaged place and making these problems even worse. The system, the elites, the left, they're letting us down, and the mainstream media not even telling us the outcomes in places like Fairfield in Western Sydney. We've got to do a lot better than that. Let's keep a focus on it. I'm Mark Latham for Rebel Australia. If you like this video, then subscribe to Rebel Australia, go to our website, marklathamsoutsiders.com, sign up and share all the information on Facebook and Twitter.